Good morning. The immune system is the constellation of many biological structures and processes within a multicellular organism meant to protect the body from various pathogens, right from viruses to parasitic worms, and distinguish them from organisms' own healthy tissues. Dealing with the study of immune system in all the living beings, the immunology is a branch of biomedical sciences which concerns with both physiological and biochemical aspects of immune system in normal and abnormal states of health. And any perturbations in the functions of immune system lead to a number of immunological disorders, including the autoimmune diseases, hypersensitivity is there, then immune deficiency, transplant rejection, and a number of other diseases. It is well known fact that immune disorders contribute to the many conditions, including the metabolic, neurodegenerative, and cardiovascular disorders. These are the various stimulants, viruses, fungi, toxins, various pollutants, industrial pollutants, drug pollutants, parasites, bacteria. They are the various stimulant for the body's immune response. Our immune system consists of numerous cells of innate and acquired immune systems and organ. The major primary lymphoid organs of the immune systems are thymus and bone marrow. The secondary lymphatic tissues such as the spleen, tonsils, lymph vessels, lymph nodes, adenoids, skin, and liver. So this is the picture showing the various lymphoid organs right from tonsils and adenoids. In the neck region, lymph nodes, lymphatic vessel is there, thymus, then lymph nodes in the axillary region, spleen, Peyer's patches, appendix, lymph nodes in the groin region, bone marrow, and lymphatic vessels. Red bone marrow is the key element in lymphatic system, generates lymphocytes in the form of B and T cells, natural killer cells, and from immature hematopoietic progenitor cells. Thymus gland is the site of development, education, and training of the T cells. Development starts from hematopoietic progenitor cell, and it is the most active and largest immune organ during the early infancy and pre-adolescent phase of life. Later, while acquiring the teenage, the glands start atrophying, and the cell stroma is replaced with adipose tissue, but residual T cells lymphopoiesis goes on lifelong, while the B cell maturation happens while in the blood. Lymph nodes are widely distributed all through the body, as you have seen in the previous slide, including the axilla, stomach, and are linked to the linked through lymphatic vessels. The lymph nodes can be said as a coffer of various immune cells, including the T and B cells, natural killer cells, macrophages, and so many other kinds of WBCs. So classification of immune system. Immune system can be classified into two major classes. One is the innate immune response and another one is the adaptive or acquired immune response. Innate immune response is a non-specific response. It is a first line of defense. It is further divided into two lines of defense. One is first line and another one is the second lines of defense. First line includes all the physical barriers, including the skin, mucous membranes, and secretion, and normal floras of the body. While the second line of defense include the innate immune cells in the form of various neutrophils, macrophages, dendritic cells, and other WBCs. Inflammatory response and the complement system, including the around 20 proteins available into the blood, then entry microbial substances uh, secreted by various sites. The second kind of response is, which is more a specific kind of response, is the third line of defense in the body against the pathogens, Once the acute response is not very prominent or not able to arrest the complete infection, the third line of defense come into play, and it includes the specialized lymphocytes in the form of B cells and T cells. T cells can be helper T cells and the killer T cells. B cells produce antibodies. They are responsible for production of antibodies. Innate and acquired immune response. Innate immune system is also known as non-specific immune system is an evolutionary host defense system, important subsystem of overall immune system, which consists of cells and mechanisms to defend the host from infection by other organisms. The cells of immune system, the innate immune system, recognize and respond to the pathogen in a very, very generic way. It doesn't confer the long-lasting protective immunity to the host. Innate immune system provide immediate defense strategy against the various types of infections. Such type of immunity is available in all classes of plant and animals. While the acquired immune system is a third line of defense and is activated once the innate system has been overwhelmed, and it is specific to the infective agent that is capable to store the information about in the form of secondary memory about the invader as the in the form of secondary memory to show the enhanced response to the subsequent infection. Central to the adaptive immune response are a specific group of cells called the T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. The B lymphocytes are learned to fight extracellular pathogens with their released products in the form of antibodies and are responsible for humoral immune response, while the T cells have varied role to perform, right from activation of B cells to help other phagocytic cells to kill the pathogens. So that's how they are divided into two types: T helper cell type 1, type 2, and other is type 3. That will be discussed later on in detail. One more type of T cells are T cytotoxic cells, recognize the pathogen infected cells and destroy them, and T cells are responsible for cell mediated immune response. Unlike the innate immune response, the acquired or innate adaptive immune response is highly specific to any particular pathogen, and it provides a long life protection to the body against the pathogen, which is lacking in the innate immune response. Now have a look on few important milestones in the field of immunology. The concept of immunology arose right from 1796 with the first demonstration of smallpox vaccine. It was done by Edward Jenner. 1837, the role of microbes in putrefaction and fermentation, identified by Theodore Schwann. 1840, the germ theory of disease was proposed by Jacob Hanley. 1850, the contagious nature of puerperal fever or the childbed fever was identified Ignace. In 1857, the microbial role in fermentation was confirmed by Louis Pasteur. 1862, phagocytosis was identified by Ernest Haeckel. The mast cell were defined by Paul Ehrlich in the same year. Then followed by germ theory of disease was confirmed by Louis Pasteur. In 1880, the phagocytic theory was first to be developed in the year. Then 1890, Emil von Boring and Kitasato in 1890 for producing neutralizing antitoxin serum. And for this, the von Behring was awarded, the French awarded the Nobel Prize in 1901. In 1903, Almorth Wright, with his discipline Estevard Douglas, gave the concept of humoral immune system. 1908, Ilya Makhnikov shared the Nobel Prize with Paul Ehrlich for his early contribution to understanding of inflammation. Jules Bordet was awarded the first Nobel Prize for his pioneering work on complement system. In 1920, the Bacillus Committee Gorin or BCG was born. In 1930, Landsteiner received the Nobel Prize for elucidating the blood group and for his work on Rh factor. 1913, the Charles Richet received the Nobel Prize in recognition of his work on anaphylaxis. In 1960, the clonal selection theory was explained. In 1984, Neil Jern was awarded Nobel Prize for his theoretical contribution to the immunology. 1965, the T.T. Wu and E.A. Cabot demonstrated the presence of hypervariable regions in antibodies, followed by in 1972 elucidation of antibody structure done by Rodney Porter and Gerard M. Edelman, who shared the Nobel Prize for the discovery in the same year. 1980 in 1950, the Dowsett identified the HLA locus or the MHC or the major histocompatibility complex. 1984, the T cell receptor was studied and characterized by Tak W. Mack and Davis. 1987, Tonegawa was awarded the Nobel Prize in this year for elucidating the antibody generation mechanism. 87, in the same year, the elucidation of the structure of some of the HLA molecules by Zorkman and Willi. 1996, the Peter Doherty and Rodolph M. Zinkernagel for understanding the cellular mechanism, immune mechanism, and shared the Nobel Prize. 2000, the discovery of M1 and M2 types of macrophages, subset by Charles Millis. In 2001, the discovery of FOXP3, a gene directing regulatory T cell development. 2005, development of HPV or human papillomavirus vaccine by Ian Fraser. 2010, the first autologous cell-based cancer vaccine Provogene was approved by FDA for the treatment of metastatic asymptomatic stage of fourth stage of prostate cancer. 2010, again, the first immune checkpoint inhibitor, ipilimumab, anti-CTLA-4, is approved by FDA for treatment of stage 4 melanoma. In 2011, called June reports first successful use of CAR T cells for the treatment of CD19 malignancies. 2014, a second class of immune checkpoint inhibitor was approved by FDA for treatment of melanoma. Two different drugs, pembrolizumab and nivolumab, were approved within months of each other. 2016, the Matthew M. Halpert first characterized the role of dendritic cells, CTLA4, in T helper cell 1 immunity. Then 2018, discovery of cancer therapy by inhibition of negative immune regulation, James P. Ellison and Tasuku Honzu awarded the Nobel Prize. So these were the stalwarts of the field of immunology, because of whom we could be standing in such a smart phase of immunology, where we can exploit its uses in our various for our various purposes. Thank you.